The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Welcome to another segment of the UCW Radio Show. This is your host, Lou, a.k.a. Falcon Coparis, and I want to thank all of our listeners, as I do at the beginning of each show, for your continued support just by listening to the show. Obviously, without you, we wouldn't have a show. So we thank you for that. We're doing some great things here at the UCW Radio Show. We have a great team in place. We're bringing on fantastic guests with their amazing stories, and we're adding new shows to the roster. So you have to keep tuned because October is going to be interesting. We have some fantastic stuff that I really can't talk about right now, but you'll see in the coming weeks how everything comes together. Now, in just a little while, we're going to have a very gifted actor on the show. This is a guy that has no fear in trying new roles to better a project, whether it's TV, film, stage, whatever it may be. He really, honestly, he's a director's dream actor to have on the set. And if you're a director, you know what you're looking for. You know, this is a guy that made it a point to learn everything from editing to lighting and directing and everything in between, all in an effort to become a better actor and better his craft. So, knowing all that, he knows what a director is looking for, so it allows him to do it in a smoother way. So it's all good stuff, and he's going to be coming on the show in a little while. But before we bring our guest on, I need to go over a couple things. As I've been talking about, we have been chosen, fortunately, and I'm proud of it. We've been chosen to host the Ultimate Body Radio Show, which is directly attached to the Ultimate Body reality show. Now, I'm going to go over this again. I've been going over this on the show, but for those that don't know what the show is about, the Ultimate Body television show is a reality show. It's a competition reality show. You know, kind of like the Biggest Loser, but not. This is a show where you can go on and actually become healthier, a top-notch bodybuilder, and do a lot of amazing things. You have a great guy behind the whole thing, David Lyons. His story is amazing. I'm proud to know him. He's produced Hog Heaven, the TV show, the biker show, the animated feature Creepers. So he's done some amazing stuff. And he brought in Lauren Alvarez as a producer as well. She is well known in the industry. She's done The Surreal Life, The Osbournes, Meet My Folks. You know, she's the real deal. So in short, you have, in my opinion, a blockbuster hit, a show that'll continue to run season after season after season. But the reality is, and no pun intended, but the reality is that you can only do a new show one time, meaning that if you are looking to get involved in a reality show, this is the one to get involved with because it is just coming out. So if you get involved, you know what? First time on, people will remember you are the first. So you kind of have an opportunity to make history in the Ultimate Body franchise, which is pretty cool. Which is a pretty cool and unique thing to do. Now, here's the premise of the show. You have 13 men, 13 women. They're all being put through vigorous physical training and dieting. I mean, the regimens are going to be out of control, but they're all competing for the chance of being crowned the Ultimate Body. So, and also the winners of the show, they get $50,000 apiece. $50,000 for the man, $50,000 for the women. They get a spread in Muscle magazine. It's pretty cool. Some trips involved and everything. So the long and short of it, it's a unique opportunity for anyone that's involved. Now here goes the bad news. There's the last open casting call is on October 17th, Saturday, October 17th. That's the last time you can get on the show for this season. And that casting call is going to be from 11 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. at the Ramada Orlando Celebration Resort and Convention Center. Now that's located at 635 West Earlo Bronson Highway, and that's in Kissimmee, Florida. Look, if you were looking to get involved in a reality show and you wanted to get healthy, get yourself together, this is the reality show for you. You have some great people involved. I went over the directors, David Lyons, the directors, the producers, David Lyons, and then you have Lauren Alvarez. But let me go into the judges. You have the IFBB Hall of Famer Rich Gaspari. You have Natural Mr. Universe Doug Burns, amazing story. You have IFBB Bikini Pro and Top Fitness Supermodel Marcia Prince. She's a doll, and she's one of the judges. And then you have Bob Cicciarello. Okay, he is the voice of the Mr. Olympia. You can't do any better than this group of people. Now, to find out more about it, just go to theultimatebodytvshow.com. That's theultimatebodytvshow.com. And all these people will be there on October 17th, along with myself. I'll be there as well. Again, we're very proud to be a part of this whole this great project that's taking place, and we look forward to great things with this. So we're looking for our listeners to also support us in this deal as we move forward. So just keep listening to the show. Now I have to give you some additional information. We want you to be a part of the show. So give us a call with your questions, comments. Just go to ucwmagazine.com, and then you can see who's going to be on the show. We set up a little calendar, so you have pictures. It gives you a visual who's going to be on the show. You can call, get involved, and be a part of it. Give us a call at 323-952-4369. That's 323-952-4369. Write it down. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. And also, the UCW radio show has opened its doors, as I talked about as well a couple of weeks ago, to sponsorship opportunities. So sponsors, if you wanted to get involved with a great show, the UCW radio show is the one for you. We're bringing, as I said earlier, we're doing a lot of interesting things. We have a great team involved. We're bringing in really great guests. And we're also adding shows to the roster. The Ultimate Body radio show is one of them. We have some others we can't talk about, but it just gets better from here. Better and better each week that passes by. And you can find out about sponsoring the show by going to ucwmagazine.com, or again, you can give us a call at 323-952-4369. That's 323-952-4369. And if you're on Twitter, you can send me out a tweet your questions for our guest. I'll be your conduit to our guest. My Twitter name is Louis Velazquez. That's LouisVelazquez. So follow me and tweet away. Now, without further ado, let's patch in this great actor. And I said earlier, he's a gifted actor. And he is a guy that you want to keep your eyes on. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to want to keep your eyes on him as the months and years go by, because you're going to be hearing a lot from him. Now, he's waiting on hold, so let's get him on the line. Here is Matthew Jaeger. Matthew, it's great to have you on the UCW radio show. I know we had a little mix-up earlier on, but we've been trying to work this out, but finally you're here. So welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. We and I say this every show. We always appreciate the time that our guests put aside for us, and because your time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable, but you have a lot of projects that you're working on right now, so you kind of like etched this out today, and I appreciate that. Now, look, Matthew, you're an actor. Okay, you've done some film stuff, some theater stuff, and so on and so forth. But this wasn't something that just happened overnight. There's a journey involved here. You actually, you went to school. You did a lot of things, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And you laugh because it's right.
Still not easy.
Yeah, it's still not, but everything is still a work in progress. I don't care who you are. If you're in Hollywood, you're always a work in progress. And we talked earlier about Phil Morris. I love the guy because he he has the highest integrity, and he respects the industry, and that is what means something, because no matter what, you're always going to push yourself to the next level, so you're always evolving.
Yeah, well, he said something, it was funny, he said something in that interview that really, it's something I've been saying to a lot of my friends back home. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and, it seems like, they're like, man, they talk about, I'm always working. They're like, you're always doing something, even if I'm not actually doing a play or doing a film, I'm like, doing whatever you gotta do, sending out postcards or trying to meet new people or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but if you love what you're doing, it's not like work. It becomes part of your life. It's who you are. And so all that work, sometimes it gets to be a little bit of a drudge, but at the end of the day, you're doing what you love to do. And I mean, if you're doing that, life's good.
Yeah, no doubt. They say, like right now, they say that Ryan Seacrest is the hardest working man in entertainment. He works hard, but I got to say, just to, give Phil Morris his props, man. The guy works hard. He's working on a web series, all this stuff. But look, this show today is not about him. I love the guy, but Phil, we'll talk about you later. We're here for Matthew Jaeger. So Matthew, tell us how everything started for you. How did you get involved in entertainment?
Well, if you ask my mom, it was when I was a kid, and during
Mom is always right. You know that, right?
Mom's always right, man. She'll love that you said that too.
Well,
what did my dad say? My dad gave me advice for the secret to happiness as a man is your mother's always right, your girlfriend's always right, your wife's always right. You follow those 3 rules, you'll never be upset.
Yeah, because they're happy and you're happy, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
funny.
My mom likes to tell the story of when I was growing up. Annie was my favorite movie. I'm a redhead, as people will be able to tell from my shots, and the idea of having a redheaded lead in a show, especially for a kid, was pretty cool. Right. And every time she would sing Tomorrow, I guess I to this day I say I have no memory of it. But Mom loves to tell the story. I would get up in front of the TV and make everybody listen to me as I sang the song.
Of course you had no memory of that. Why would you want to remember that? But your mama does.
Oh, Mom loves not only to remember it, but to remind everybody else of it too.
Yeah. You see, when he was a kid, he used to sing to Annie. And he used to do. I have pictures. I'm sure she has film. Oh my God! I'm going to say you better lock that film down, because you're going to get some role with one of the majors, and all of a sudden TMZ is going to have that footage.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of good footage.
Yeah, especially coming from Wisconsin, you have all that stuff there. Oh my God! So your mom thinks you saw it at that age, which she's probably right. Actually, she is right, because Mom is always right. But when do you think you started in entertainment?
When I really got my kind of when the bug bit me was high school. I went into high school as a freshman, and I didn't know a lot of people. And so some of my older friends who I'd met, family friends, whatever, they were in the same high school I was, they were on the drama club, and they were auditioning for the fall show, and I was like, yeah, what the heck? They said, you should try out, see what you think. I said, all right, cool. And I went, and I got a role. I was like, wow, this is kind of fun, and I was doing it, and rehearsals were really fun, and, everybody seemed really cool, and so I really enjoyed that show, and then I auditioned for the next one, and I got that, and I ended up actually being in every show that my high school did while I was there, which was really cool. And then I liked it so much, it was like, you know what? I wanted to learn everything I could, so I started learning how to do lights, I started learning how to do sound and running the boards. And by the time I was a senior in high school now, that was a while ago, so I've forgotten a lot of what I learned, but by the time I was a senior in high school, myself and a good friend of mine, Jamie, man, we would, if we had a class going on and we finished our work ahead of time, we'd be going and working in the theater, working on the sound, working on the lights. Sometimes the teachers would come to us, ask us to help them out. So it's that thing where, man, once I tried and I got that taste of it, I could put my finger in any pie I could, whatever you wanted me to do, I'd try it.
But I'm going to say something, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because you went and you were doing everything. So you kind of like, you weren't afraid to go mess with the lighting or go do this or do that, but it actually helped you.
Oh yeah, it's I think for anybody, if you're a director, I think you should try acting. If you're an actor, you should try directing or producing or whatever, because getting that other viewpoint and seeing it from a different angle really kind of helps you put your role and perspective, and also helps you. It really gives you a much bigger picture of the project. A couple of years ago, I produced this web series, and I was the writer, exec producer, and I was kind of a very hands-on producer, so I was probably doing some directing too.
Right.
But I realized before, when I was an actor and I was on set or working on something, and the director didn't talk to me, I'd get kind of like insecure, like, oh man, I wonder if I'm not doing something right. You know, why isn't he giving me any notes? Why isn't he? And I realized as a producer, you got so much stuff on your mind.
Yeah.
If you have an actor on set you don't have to talk to and worry about, that's a good thing. You're going to bring them back.
That's so funny. That's so funny because, and I'm just going to interject for a second because that's a strong statement, and it's so true. We had Joanna Key on the show, and she, same as you, she started out at a certain point, and she learned everything. She went to school for directing, all the stuff, and she said it best. I mean, I guess, well, I'm sure you're going to say it better right now, so I'm going to tell you she said it best. But
I don't know about that.
but what she said, you know, she learned everything about the business, and then when you're an actor and you understand the lighting, you understand what the director is actually looking for, because you were behind the camera at one point, so you know what you would be looking for. That it actually makes it a lot easier for you to work with the director, because you're not actually, you know, trying to figure out what he wants. You're trying different things to give him the shots that he wants.
Yeah, actually, that's really true. It's I know I've worked with some actors who they kind of. It's a hard thing because the director speaks and directors speak. There are obviously different kinds of ways. Directors communicate different ways actors communicate. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there are some actors out there who kind of expect the director to speak their language. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I mean, actors come from a very motivational standpoint, an emotional standpoint. Mm-hmm. You know, what am I trying to do here? And
they are artiste.
Precisely. And a director wants a finished product.
Right.
So but as an actor, you can't just sit back and be like, hey, you got to speak my language and tell me what I have to do. You got to make that little bit of extra effort and there are times where, you know, you just say to a director, look, what is the result you want? I'll make it happen. Mm-hmm. You know, if you can have that perspective, and if the director says, well, I want you to be more angry in this scene. Well, a lot of actors don't like to hear that. But if you can take that and kind of reinterpret it and make that real for yourself, okay, well, I can't just be angry, but ooh, you know what would make me angry is if I did this. That really that makes everybody's job a lot easier. And, you know, if you're doing something you love, you don't want to make it more difficult. You want to make it as easy for everybody as possible, because then everybody's having fun.
No, without a doubt. And if you see, years ago in Hollywood, all right, let's say the 20s, 30s, 50s, you know, even let's say the 60s, you had, you know, these iconic stars. They would go there and, you know, I'm here, I'm the best, and you're a director, you have to kiss my shoes. But that was the mentality. Now it's not about that. Now you have a lot of actors out there, but they understand, because there was like I guess an evolving process, and maybe, you know, they saw, you know, actors that are coming up understand that, hey, I know what a director is going through, because I took it, like you took it upon yourself to learn that. So if you know what the director is going through, you're not going to make it harder, you're going to make it easier, because at the end of the day, one thing matters, is having a product that is great, because the producer is sitting there saying, yeah, I want my money. Okay?
Exactly, and he only gets the money if the audience likes the product.
Right. So, but it's your job as an actor to go and make the project, no matter what it is, and be a professional about it, no matter what it is to make it the best that you can make it. So learning what the director's doing and being able to follow his lead, actually throw things in there to make his life easier, you're doing him a favor. And for a director, and I know I'm talking a little much here, but I have to let this stuff out because it is true. Because we've had directors on the show, we've had actors, so on and so forth. So I'm like, you know, I'm just taking everything from everybody and just letting it out there so our listeners, you know, get a good idea. And they do at this point of what works out. But you're smart because you learned everything. So you are like you're like a director's dream actor in a movie, because you already it's easier to put you in a position where you can actually start doing stuff without him having to explain everything to you in a big I don't know, in a big letter or something. Or
Ooh, I'm a director's dream. Can I quote you on that?
yeah, you can't quote me on that, but it is true, because how many actors out there do stuff, they're acting, but the director is like pulling their hair out because they're not getting the shot that they want.
It can be difficult. I worked with somebody who will remain nameless, but who he done some directing himself, and it's funny enough, he understood where the director was coming from, but he didn't agree.
Wow.
And he felt like it was his job to kind of help direct these scenes. It was like, no, man. At this point, we're the actors. We got to interpret the director's vision for this project, and obviously there are times when, as an actor, there are times when it's appropriate to say, I really think this would work better if we tried this. But you still got to be open to, I'll try it your way, you try it my way, and then we'll kind of see how it looks and go from there. Whether you're in a play rehearsing, whether you're doing takes for a film, whatever. But at the same time, I mean, you kind of have to know your place where you are on set. I mean, if you're the actor, then your job is to interpret somebody's vision. If you're the director, your job is to interpret that story. If you're the writer, your job is to provide a good story. If you're running lights, your job is to make sure that everything looks good. If you're the cameraman, then you're supposed to make sure the entire scene looks good. And obviously, I don't know lighting and camera as well as anything, as well as acting, so I'm sure I did not nearly describe their jobs as well as I probably should have. But it kind of, if everybody has an idea of how they're fitting into this big puzzle, every piece is very important. But at the same time, if pieces start trying to be something that they're not, that can cause some difficulty.
Of course, you can have a ripple in the water at that point, because everything has to work like a well-oiled machine.
Precisely.
And I'm gonna just throw this in there too, because this is a bodybuilding thing. But there was a guy, Bill Pearl. He was a top bodybuilder, an Olympia type of guy, and he would go on stage. And then the thing is, he was smart. He understood where all the lighting was and everything, and he understood where the stage was and the whole 9 yards. So he would go on stage and strike a pose. Now, if the lighting was off and everybody moved, he wouldn't move because he knew the lighting made him look good at that moment. So he wouldn't go and move around with everybody else. But it's understanding your environment in order to make it the best that it can be. And that was my point of saying that. So again, just to pat you on the back, you learning all that stuff, obviously it's a big plus. And when you're doing the Hollywood thing and doing film or TV or even web series or whatever it is, you're saving money for the production company. Okay, because the project is going along quicker because you're not taking 20 million takes of the same thing because there's an error. Even though you do take 20 takes of certain things because of the angles, but not because of an error.
Actually, it's funny. The one of the projects I have out right now is HBO Imagine is the name of the project. It's at hboimagine.com. It's that three-dimensional project I was talking about a little with you a little bit before we started.
Right.
It's this series of shorts. And it's this whole big story, and it's broken up into these little shorts, and then on the website you kind of weave in through this three-dimensional maze of different stories, and they all kind of fit together until you get the whole picture. Well, two of those stories were actually, it's something that I've never seen done before. It was fascinating to me. It's these stories were shot simultaneously from 4 different directions. And so this one episode I was in takes place in an art gallery, and they set up from 4 different directions the same story. Well, from what's happening, there's an event that occurs, and there's a diversion for the event, and then there's sort of what looks like it might be the event, but it's not, but because nobody ever done this before, shooting from 4 different angles, and because each angle you see a different kind of piece of the entire story that happens within this art gallery, there were a lot of logistical issues, and so the shoot ended up running a little bit longer than was expected, but whereas in some cases, people would start freaking out, pulling their hair out, fighting, whatever. The company that was running it, and I felt like the actors as well, everybody stayed real calm, and they understood, okay, look, you need me to leave right now so you can set this up? No problem. They go do their thing. You need me what do you need me to do? How can I make this process easier? Because everybody knew what we were going for, which was this really exciting new way of shooting something. I mean, actually, if you go to the website, when you get to these things, the way it's presented, they have some live events around the country that's actually this like 10 by 10 cube that you walk around. So it's like you're walking around the outside of the room and seeing what's happening. Or on the web, it's got a little cube that you spin with your mouse. And so you can watch this thing in real time and be spinning the cube and looking at all the different angles. Well,
that is so cool.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea. But at the same time, because nobody's done it before, there were a lot of logistical things. But because everybody understood what they were trying to do, I felt like it went a lot smoother because people were willing to kind of put in the extra effort, or on the flip side, if they were asked, kind of step back and let somebody else do their job, get out of the way and let people do their job.
Well, that's pretty cool. See, I would think that anyone involved in a project like that would do whatever they can do to make it better, because with anything in life, you can only be a part of something new one time. That's it. That's it. Whether if it's boxing and you're the first champion, you know what? You made history. You can retire for the next 50 years. Hey, who was the first champion? You were. Period. Who was the seventh champion? I don't know. Who was the first president of the United States? You know that off the bat. Who was the 17th? I don't know. But it's true. It's true. It's making history, man. And something like that is interesting because what was it? The movie Vantage Point, which had different perspectives from different people. But what this project's about is just showing different angles, but on I like it. I like that idea. I like that. It's innovative.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. The guys who came up with it, they kept joking. Yeah, I don't know what we were smoking, but I think these guys were brilliant, man. They came up with something that in a million years I don't think I would have thought of. So.
Well, you know what? I sent a message out to them, brother. Keep on smoking. Produce some magic. Now, not that I condone smoking on the show.
No, absolutely not. They were joking. They weren't actually smoking anything.
I need to stress that so that people don't get the wrong idea. So you've done that. That's excellent. But now, let me ask you, Matthew. Let's crank back a little bit because we kind of went off course, and that was my fault. Now, from high school, you went to college, and what happened in college?
Well, in college, I actually I did a double major. I did a major in I loved acting, but I knew it was a very insecure kind of career choice, and my dad's an engineer, actually with Harley Davidson. My mom's a psychologist, so I kind of, I wanted to, I'm the oldest, I wanted to kind of do something that I knew they'd be proud of, and I felt like being a starving actor, maybe not. And I should say that had nothing to do with them. I've been very lucky. They've both been amazingly supportive. Both of them have flown out to see the play I'm currently in, and it's been fantastic.
Well, that blows my question out of the water. See, Mama's already, because your mother and they support you in everything you do, and that was going to be one of my my questions for you if your family supported your decision. But I kind of figured when Mama said that you started doing this at a young age. So
yeah, they were. I know my dad. I was kind of into math when I was in high school. And then when I discovered theater, I kind of moved away from that. And my dad, as an engineer, for a while was really excited. Oh man, I have a son. He's really good at math. And then when I started moving towards acting, I think somewhere he was a little bummed that he wasn't going to have an engineer in the family. Yeah. But then my younger brother picked that up, so it's all good.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. This goes out to your father. He's an engineer for Harley.
Oh yeah.
So now, what is cooler than having you're an engineer for Harley, you're doing your thing, and what's cooler than maybe in a couple of years, whatever it is, or even in a movie, at some point in time, to see your son on a Harley in a movie. Come on.
Well, it's been that's actually the one talent I haven't been able to use yet in film. I'm really hoping somebody's going to throw me on a motorcycle pretty soon.
You never know. Now we're talking about it now, so go on.
Yeah. But so anyway, I took a double major in college. I was going to do acting for fun and then do video editing because I really liked entertainment. And
okay.
I like editing. So, and man, I got to tell you, after one semester of acting classes and one semester of some broadcasting classes, I kind of shoved the broadcasting major to one side and just focused on the acting. And then I picked up a minor in dance, and it was kind of history from there. And then my sophomore, what really kind of sealed the deal was my sophomore year in college. They were auditioning for this like after school kind of special. It was actually a primetime special. This group called Dream Builders, and it's this competition where people submit their scripts. It's for February, Black History Month, and Martin Luther King Day, and so people would submit their scripts dealing with racial issues. They pick one, and then they cast it and shoot it, and then show it. And originally it aired in the Midwest, and then since then it's kind of aired in different states around the country. So I guess now it's gone national, which is cool.
That's cool. That's
But
very
anyway,
cool.
the day of the audition, I was supposed to help my dad paint the house. I promised him I would do it, and then I heard about the audition, and I was like, oh man, but I promised my dad, and it was the only day we could do it. And he's like, you know what, forget about it, go ahead. I was like, yeah, I know, but I gave him my word I would, and I don't want to go back on that. And he said, well, tell you what, it's supposed to rain, so if it rains, we'll go out there, we'll get you set up in your dorm, you go audition, and then we'll paint next weekend or something. He was going to have to take an extra day off of work or something. So got up that morning, and it was kind of drizzling. Not real bad. But my dad, being the supportive guy he was like, nope, it's raining, come on, we're going to school. So we went out to college, went out to where I was going to school and set up the dorm. And sure enough, the time for the audition came, and so I walked over and did my audition. And then I guess the winner was supposed to be told by the local news station, and I didn't hear anything, so I forgot about it. And about 6 weeks later, I get a call from the production company saying, hey, Matt, congratulations. So we're sure you already know that you got the role of Carter in our film, and, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, no, I didn't know, but that's awesome. Great. And she said, well, okay, we'll be flying you out on a Friday, and then you'll shoot Saturday, Sunday. You'll have Monday, Tuesday off, and you'll work again Wednesday, and we'll fly you back Thursday. I said, great. When is it? This Friday. Wow.
And did
okay,
you say to them, you understand today's Thursday, right?
I spent the week just going to all my professors, going, it was kind of a fun excuse. I was like, I have to go shoot a movie, so I'm going to be gone all next week. What's my homework? And so so I went out there and I got to work with Christopher B. Duncan from the Jamie Foxx Show, Elizabeth Berkley, who I'd grown up watching on Saved by the Bell, Greg Lauren, and it was and after working with them and just seeing how they worked and being on a film set for the first time, it was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to do this. Come what may. I may not make it. I may not be successful, but I'm at least going to try it. So
that kind of sealed the deal for you. You kind of solidified your vision.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. But now working in theater and working on a film with, two different animals, or even on a TV set, two different animals.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were doing a lot of stage work beforehand, right?
Correct, yeah. And I still like to do a good amount of theater as well.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second with your theater work. Yeah. But I want people to understand, our listeners to understand that, it's a different animal. When you're on stage and you're performing and doing that, you got to remember all this stuff. And I said this to one of our guests before, that, you know what, if I had to do that, you would hear crickets in the audience because I would forget everything. No, and it would be, you'd be laughing over there. You would be laughing in the audience, I know that, but that's okay.
No,
but it takes
not audibly anyway.
But it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of hard work to do that, to do stage work.
It takes a lot of hard work. I would say that I think film can be equally as difficult for different reasons, in the time it takes to set up shots and the number of takes you'll do.
It's the repetitiveness and filmmaking and TV.
Keeping it alive, right? And people say, theater's very repetitive, and it's true. You do the same show, 30, 40, 50, 800, whatever times. But at the same time, when you do with film, you're trying to get to a specific point. Once you get that take, it's locked down, it's there, it's done. And if you don't get it right, you can do over. The thing that always keeps me on my toes about theater is just the fact that no matter what, it's a cliche, but it's so true, the show must go on. It doesn't matter what happens. I did over the summer I did a production of Macbeth, and for one of our final performances, I'm supposed to come out and have a conversation with another actor. That actor didn't make it for his entrance and never came on. So I had to turn, while I'm on stage, I had to figure out how to turn this conversation into a Shakespearean monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, it's a combination of sheer fright and a really big high, because it's like, if I can pull this off, let's do it. And luckily nobody noticed, and it came off really well. But it is that thing of, man, anything can happen.
Right.
Anything at all.
You're exposed. You're exposed in the worst way, because when you're doing film or you're doing TV or even you're doing a web series or something, and you're right, because there is repetitiveness in both. The theater is repetitive because you're doing the same thing over and over with the performances. And when you're doing a movie, you're doing the same scene probably 20, could be 30 times. It all depends until the director gets the angles that he's looking for.
Yeah.
And it happens. You hear it all. Because a lot of people that don't understand what happens behind the scenes they just see the finished product.
Yeah.
They don't see the stuff that you've done. Now, but you've done Macbeth. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. But you're working on something now that we were talking about earlier. I want to let you talk about it because I find it pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the 30th anniversary production of Children of a Lesser God, and it's being done by Deaf West, which, I mean, who could ask for a better company to do a show about the deaf world than a deaf theater company?
There you go.
And it's actually the original production of Children of a Lesser God was done with Center Theater Group at the Mark Taper Forum, and then it went to Broadway and toured and became a movie, and I mean, did all the wonderful things that it did. And the original stage manager from that production is actually our director for this production. Mm-hmm. So it was fun working with him because he's like this encyclopedia. He watched as they changed the script, and as Mark Madoff, who's the writer, would, eliminate this character or add this character or change this scene. And he knows why every line was put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, growing up, my parents had put me in a sign language class when I was like 6 years old. And I took it in summer school until I was 13, and then I stopped. And I had a couple friends in college who helped me. A friend, unfortunately, who never became a good friend, but he was a friend who was deaf, and he would help me a little bit. And then another sort of friend, I guess, in college that helped me a little bit. But I really forgot most of what I learned. Mm-hmm. And so for this project, I didn't even submit on it. I saw the casting notice, and I didn't submit. My agent didn't submit because I was like, "There's no way. They need somebody who's fluent."
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the call from the casting director, Amy Lieberman, and she asked me to come in. Mm-hmm. And I went, "All right, here, we'll see what we do." So I had some books, and I found a website called ASL Pro, and I prepped the audition, went in, got the callback, went in, did the same thing, prepped all the callback sides, went in, and then when I got in the room, Amy went, "So you got side A, B, and C, right?" And I went, No, I got side A and B, but I got side D over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you should have gotten side C here. We're going to do this one. And that is a 2-page monologue that is me screaming in the middle of a fight. And it's all signed as well. She said, "Well, you got a half hour, so go ahead and prep it." I went, "Oh my God."
So as the stress level's building and the anxiety is like going through your brain.
So I had one book on me, and I popped it open, and I started working on all the signs, and then what you have to do is eventually, when my time came, I went, "Okay, I've learned everything I can, let's just do it." And I went in, and I got the role, and it's been a fantastic experience. I mean, from learning sign language, they have an ASL master that I was doing one-on-one 2-hour sessions with, anywhere from 3 days a week to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Working with Shoshana Stern, who plays Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
People may recognize her face or name from Jericho. She was a series regular. Jericho, she was in Weeds. She was in Threat Matrix. And she's fantastic to work with. And speaking of theater being new every night, there are certain actors you work with who, especially in theater, who really keep it fresh because every night they throw a little something new at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very lucky that in Shoshana I have a co-star who does that on a regular basis. So it definitely keeps every show alive and different.
It keeps you from being turning stagnant or having everything become like monotonous.
Yeah, it prevents complacency.
Right.
Which is so important with theater. And we've been real lucky that the majority of the Backstage West gave us a great review. LA Times gave us a great review. LA Weekly. I mean, everybody seems to really like the show, and we extended it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a 1-week extension. They announced it last Friday. By Monday, it was already completely sold out.
Nice.
And so now we're trying to extend it again, but we might not have. The theater has to do renovations, so we're not sure if we're going to get to extend it. It's been amazing because the whole run's sold out. We're trying to extend. It seems like we just don't have enough performances for all the people who want to come see us. So that's the exact position you want to be in.
Yeah, but it may come to a point. You never know. It may come to a point that maybe they go on a road because right now you're in LA.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah, but it happens because if you have, and we're talking about it now, Children of the Lesser God, that you're doing this whole project. You guys are sold out. Okay, you have the Deaf West Theater. There's people are like banging on the door. They want more performances because you're selling out all the tickets. The production company. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked if they're looking at other venues outside of there to have this thing go, because if it's that good and everything you're telling me about it sounds fantastic, you never know.
Well, that's we're keeping our fingers crossed, and if something happens, I'll definitely be letting people know.
Yeah, well then we get you back on the show and we talk about it, and we go over stuff. But now, right now, you're the Children of the Lesser God is what are you playing through October?
We play through right now through October 18th.
Okay.
And the possible extension, and that'll be announced on the Deaf West website and on my website as soon as I find out.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what's the website for them, and we're gonna get to your website in a minute. But what's the website for Deaf West Theater?
The website for Deaf West Theater is, make sure I got it here. It's pretty simple. It's www.deafwest.org.
Oh, okay.
DEAFWEST.
Fairly simple. Anyone that's out in LA and you want to see a great show, go. You're not going to be able to buy the tickets, but go to your scalpers. Go. Pay a little extra for the tickets. Go see a great performance. Hey, you know what? That's a great sign when scalpers are scalping your tickets.
Hey, well, I'll keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, keep an eye out there. But now you guys got recognition for what you're doing recently. We were talking about it earlier. Why don't you tell our listeners about it?
Very, very recently, this morning actually. Center Theater Group and Deaf West have a very good working relationship. Center Theater Group is the largest theater company here in LA.
And they're producing the show?
No, they're not. But Deaf West has they do a lot of they do work together a lot. A production of Big River and a production of Pippin that I think Big River was 4 years ago and Pippin was 2 years ago were both done in conjunction with Center Theater Group. And right now in LA, it's Deaf Awareness Month, and the city of LA gave out awards to groups who are standouts in the deaf community. And Deaf West was awarded that, and so we were invited, Shoshana and I were invited to come in and do a scene from our show, and Deaf West and Center Theater Group were presented with a very nice award from the city, and it was a nice morning, nice way to start out the day. So.
Oh, that's good. Congrats on that. I thought that, when you told me about it, I thought that was awesome because, to get that type of recognition and the, I guess, in the arena that you're in is fantastic because now, it's showing that your work is actually affecting people.
I hope so. It's been, since I've had, like I said earlier, I had the HBO thing out, and then we've got Children of the Lesser God, and then also I've got a film out right now that we'll talk about in a little bit. But the weirdest thing has begun happening, and I've actually I actually, when it first happened, I had to call my younger brother and make sure he wasn't messing with me. I started getting fan mail.
Nice.
As you're talking about recognition.
Yeah, nice.
And it's such a cool thing because it's like, for some reason, somebody wanted to sit down and write me a letter, and it's like, it's weird. On one hand, it seems like, wow, look at me, I'm so cool, I'm getting fan mail, but it's not that. It's like, really? Wow, like somebody somebody really just wanted to sit down and just kind of say hi, that's so cool. It's like, it sort of makes you think, you know what, I'd really better make sure I'm on my game, because now that means I have people who are actually interested in the work I'm doing. So I'd better make sure I give my all every time. Right. Because there are people out there who for one reason or another care about what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. If anything, it's a reason to kind of step up and put a little more effort into it. You know what I mean?
No, without a doubt. Because when you have fans, even with this show, I'm always thanking the listeners for listening to the show, because without them, this show goes nowhere, and it's no fun. It's no fun having a show and then one person listening to it. It kind of sucks, but
I think sometimes people forget. Like, I mean, whether you're in sports or entertainment, or sports is the type of entertainment. If you're in entertainment, you exist solely for the fans. Right. That is why you're there, to entertain them.
Right, and without the fans buying the tickets and going there supporting you, you're not going to command the $10 million, $20 million salaries. I don't care, and you're right about that. Whether it's sports, whether it's any type of entertainment, especially, and it bothers me. And I'm going to say this now because I have you on the show, and it's just a thought in my mind, and this is the direction I go sometimes with the show. But it kind of bothers me when you have someone that's an accomplished actor. They've done great things, okay, and then all of a sudden they put themselves on a pedestal. It just makes you want to kick that pedestal and bring them back down to reality, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the fans, where would you be? So it's an appreciation, but at the same time, I do see how it can be crazy when you got, people trying to tear you apart at the same time, and then you have to contend with the TMZs of the world. All right.
And that is the problem, and I understand.
And I know they're going to get mad at me for saying that, TMZ, but that's okay.
Yeah, but it can be. I'm sure that they will acknowledge that at times it can make life difficult for people. But and I understand. Hey, I love my privacy, and I understand somebody who wants their privacy. But I think it's. But at the same time, what we were talking about earlier, you gotta respect the fact that, like, no matter what you do, you're a writer, director, actor, sports figure. You're there for the fans. And if it wasn't for the fans, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Right. And that's a fact. And you acknowledge that, and I think that's fantastic, because once you acknowledge that, then at least you know how to deal with it moving forward. I think that some people got stardom just by accident, which it does happen, but you get stardom and then you don't know how to deal with it. It happens. People fall into drugs and things like that, but things like that happen.
That's always really tragic when that happens, because you don't get to a certain level if you're not talented. So it's really sad when somebody who has a lot of talent falls into that. And
and it's sometimes you have good people that get they get bombarded or the word is bombarded by the media looking for the bad things. Look, we had Michael Lohan on the show a couple days ago. His daughter is Lindsay Lohan, so she's been through some rough stuff. But people don't really know who the person is. You know him personally, then you can make a comment. But when you have the media just laying out all the bad stuff, it has to, as an actor or someone in entertainment like yourself, you see that stuff out there, it has to affect you.
Obviously, I don't know anything about that situation. I'm not even gonna.
But I'm saying, but you as an actor and as a professional, if people are painting a picture of you and you're trying to do your craft, it would have to bother you if something like that would happen.
Oh, yeah. You want to make sure that you don't. Well, like I think you put it quite well, actually. If you know the person well, then you can say something about him. But it's sort of like, I'm not gonna go to the grocery store and look at somebody I just kind of see maybe in line at the bank or something and make a judgment about him because I don't know anything about him.
Right.
So go easy on people, I guess. Give people the benefit of the doubt if you can.
Yeah, that's good words that everyone should listen to. Now, Matthew, let's you did another project. Okay.
Yeah.
Just Say Love.
The third one I have out right now. It's called Just Say Love, and it's it's a two-man, it's a gay love story. It's a two-man love story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based on a play by the same name.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the thing that'll stand out if people first see it is it's shot, if you think of the film Dogville, the one that has Nicole Kidman in it.
Right.
It's a similar style, only more theatrical. There aren't things taped out on the floor. They actually have built sets.
Mm-hmm.
But the style or the concept of the film is like if you go see a play, but instead through the camera, you can actually get up out of your seat and walk around the actors,
Mm-hmm.
do a kind of a close-up, step back, check out different angles. So it's done in a theatrical style, but with all the techniques, I guess, of film, which for me, I thought it was really cool because we didn't have a lot of the extra trappings you get with film of, you know, big outdoor shots or anything like that. So it really made it about the story and about the connection between these two people, and the story itself kind of explores the line between lust and love, and you know how connections between people begin, and where's the line between a real connection and love versus just, you know, two people who have a more physical connection. And right now actually we've been going through festivals. We were in Philadelphia over the weekend, over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
In July. We came out, which is kind of a funny phrase, I guess, for a gay love story. But
came up on a bump.
Let's see. Our most recent one was up in Washington. We were at the Living Out Loud Festival, and then we'll be at the Image Out Festival on October 18th. That's in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
And then we'll be at the Reeling LGBT Film Festival in Chicago in November, and they haven't set the exact date for that yet. And for any of your listeners in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, we're doing a special benefit screening of the film October 22nd at the Music Hall. And actually, I'll be the production company is actually having me come out and do. I think we're going to do like a little Q&A afterwards, so it should be
nice.
Should be pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Now, but this Just Say Love, it's based on a gay relationship, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, but it's not. But I just want our listeners to understand what it is. You have someone that's gay and someone that's straight.
You have there's one gay character, one character who is straight, and they meet and start sort of a more physical type relationship, and then it's that relationship grows into a more deeper spiritual connection, if you will, and it's an exploration of two things. As I see the film, it's an exploration of, as I said, that line between a physical connection versus a real spiritual or emotional connection, and it also kind of explores the lines of what, you know, do you fall in love with the person? Do you fall in love with the gender? Do you fall in love with, you know, when you fall in love with somebody, are you falling in love with them because of their physical appearance, because of who they are, because of something else that can't be explained? So it's sort of it's an exploration of those topics.
Well, I mean, was it difficult for you to do this role, or?
It on some levels, I am myself straight.
Right. Well, that's why I say that. That's why I said, you know, because you're playing that. You know, look, if you look at what was the TV show Will and Grace, even though it's a comedy, I forget the guy's name, but you know, he on the show he is flamboyant, the whole 9 yards, but in real life he's straight guy.
Yeah, the character of Will, yeah, he is. He's married with a family, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, both myself and my co-star Robert Mamana, who's a very talented actor. We were both straight, and so in a way that actually made it a little bit easier because we both had no idea what we were doing.
Right.
But it's funny. I realized, especially now that I'm doing this play with show, and I also, you know, we have some more romantic scenes in that as well. When you're doing a romantic scene,
that's not a bad thing with having romantic scenes with show.
Not at all. But there is. When you're doing it with somebody who there might be an actual attraction to, so for me, if I'm doing a romantic scene with another woman, there's always in the back of your mind that fear of like, I got to make sure that nothing crosses the line. You know what I mean? I have to make sure that that we don't, do something stupid that could, damage the show or damage
Right.
a lot, especially if you have a significant other or somebody else in your life, you don't want to let the feelings you're exploring on screen or on stage carry over into real life.
That there can be a confusing thing there, and it happens all the time. You see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
Because, what you're doing is you really are exploring whatever feelings you have for that person. You're exploring them for real. You're trying to bring them to life for an audience. Now, for the film, Robert was straight, I was straight. So there was really no worry about that. We're not going to run off and get married.
No.
So,
but it had to take a lot for you guys to do it. That's the point, because both of you guys are straight doing this, and you're actually telling a story, which I find interesting, because the director of Just Say Love is Bill Humphries. And he's been around. He's an Emmy Award winner, and he's done some stuff.
Fantastic director. He was really great to work with.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way that this is all set up, and especially in this time we're in, it's interesting because you're showing something that has to do with homosexuality. You're two straight guys doing it, but you're exploring things in the film, and I think it's great. And again, I just look at the artistic part of it, and actually the message it sends out is that the message it's sending out is like, okay, people are people. These are the things that happen in life, where a guy and a girl, whether you're having a physical relationship, you're having a spiritual relationship, that you love the person, this happens. So it doesn't matter, whether it's same sex or opposite sex, it's the same type of premise. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it was, and that for me was what attracted me to the role and to the film, was the idea of exploring that line between different kinds of relationships, and the fact that it was a gay love story versus a straight love story, whatever, was just sort of, I just knew it might be an extra challenge to get over that, I don't know if you want to call it that wall or whatever, but when it came time for
that's a wall. That's a wall.
But what I was going to say, even though in a way it was a wall, because we were both two straight guys and we didn't have that other fear of anything romantic happening, in a weird way it was actually a little bit freeing, because you didn't have to hold back, if that makes sense. You just kind of dove in and did it. And then at the end you went out for a beer and had some sushi. It was so, and I think and I hate to ruin the magic of love scenes for people when they watch movies, but usually a love scene is not, when it's being shot, it's not a very romantic thing. It's sort of, if there was a scene where I think I remember I'm running my hand down his chest, and it's not like I'm sitting there and gently caressing him. I was actually looking at the monitor and going, okay, so if I do my hand at this, oh no, maybe if I turn my hand over, ooh, that looks nice. Okay, well, let's try this. All right, and okay, good. It's not a very, it's not something that's conducive to romance on set, if that makes sense. Right. Usually, I think where that happens is the scenes not where the actual, not the actual love scene, but maybe the scenes building up to that, where that more emotional connection happens.
Well, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about, that you can shoot something 20, 30 times, but at the end of the day, the audience sees what's in front of them. They don't see what happened. So for the director to take all the shots, put them together, and put it in a situation that people are either crying or they're excited, whatever the case may be, that's a craft. Okay, there's a lot of work behind it, but then the end result is different than what you're actually doing.
Yeah, well, that's part of the magic.
Yeah. Well, for those that are in relationships with people that are actors, understand that. That it's not real, not all the time anyway. So things happen.
Ideally, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, but now you've done. It's interesting, Matthew, that you when you were doing theater in college, when you were at was it Marquette University, right? Okay, you were doing some stuff there, but then you did some of the roles that you did are interesting, to say the least. You played a and I found this. I laughed. I'm going to tell you, I laughed when I heard that you played a transvestite prostitute. Yeah, you knew I was going to say that, though.
I was wondering where you were going with that. That was one of the first ever film projects I did out here, and they were looking for, on the casting notice, it said a transvestite who is obviously a guy. And I was like, well, they said, we don't want any real transvestites. So I said, okay. So I looked at the size, and for some reason, this character struck me as a southern attempt at a southern belle, and I so I went in, did my thing, and I didn't think I got it. It was fun, and but I got the call, and we shot it down on Santa Monica Boulevard near Cahuenga. And for people who know that area, that actually is an area where you can find at certain times of the night transvestite prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm dressed up and I'm shooting this thing, and I even remember we had finished my take. They were setting up for the next scene, and so I just kind of went, just get a breath of fresh air, and I started walking, and I went to the corner, and across the street I saw an actual transvestite prostitute giving me a really dirty look. So I just turned around and went back to the set. I did not want to be in a territory fight with anybody.
Yeah, no joke. And you're looking at somebody to come by and try to pick you up. Hey, how much? You never know. Yeah, I watch HBO. I see that stuff.
I decided to stay where it was safe.
Yeah, but for the most part, Santa Monica is beautiful. If anybody that goes down there, go to the pier.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
This was in Hollywood. It was on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay, all right. So
I can't speak for Santa Monica.
no,
But,
West Hollywood, you have some stuff over there, boy.
Yeah, West Hollywood, you can find some fun things too.
Yeah, no joke. Oh my God. So that's interesting. But look, one thing, and I made fun of it, but the reality is that you're not afraid to try new things. In your craft and your art as being an actor, and that's something. And we talked about it earlier on with Phil Morris, and that's something that he believes in. That you go and you're trying anything, you try different things, and with him. And again, I'm bringing him up again because he is such a great example of what a lot of actors should be like in Hollywood. Appreciate what you're doing. Don't be afraid to try new things. Try something different.
If you're going to be an actor, obviously talent, but I think the only two real personality traits you need are determination and a love to learn new things.
Right.
If you don't love to learn things, then I really don't know why you'd want to be in this craft. Every job I've ever done, I've had to learn something new, Mm-hmm. The story we just told, I had to learn how to walk in heels.
That must have been funny. Oh my God!
It was pretty fun.
Wait, but just to touch on that, before you continue that thought, what I'm thinking is, what does your mama think about that one? Or more important, what's your father think? He's like engineer for Harley. Oh, that's my son. He's wearing the heels and a dress.
I don't know if they ever saw that one.
Well, oh man, they're gonna hear this. Oh my God, you're in trouble, Matthew. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure your father's gonna be like, oh my God, he's gonna be going to your brother. Yeah, how's that engineering going? But I'm sure your parents are proud of you. You're building up tremendously in acting and in Hollywood. You've done, again, and before you continue your thought that I cut you off on, but what you're doing and trying different roles, and this is just an example to anyone listening to the show that's getting involved in acting or is an actor, and you can't be afraid to try new things. If you are an actor, you can actually become, you can escape into a role. And if you're talented in what you do, yeah, you know what? You have that opportunity to do it because there's nowhere else that you can go from being a transvestite prostitute to go and doing a deaf role in a play to doing some of the other projects you're doing and becoming different people.
Yeah, that's the joy of acting. I've fired fully automatic M16s, and I've dressed up as a woman and tried to pick up another man. It's been I've done things from the most masculine, swinging a battle axe and burying it into somebody's stomach, to making out with another guy. So
yeah,
it's I've played the straightest of the straight and the gayest of the gay, and I've played killers. I've been killed. I've gotten married. I've cheated on my wife. I've played a speech therapist at a deaf school. It's like a never-ending fun time.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to put in the work and the willingness to learn those new skills.
Right.
And I think especially if you're somebody who has a wide range of interests, you're already halfway there, because if you love to try new things, then acting is beautiful.
And you can't be afraid to evolve, because that, every role you do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you feel like you're evolving more as an actor and evolving in your craft?
Absolutely. I think even a lot of the roles I play, I discover new things just about myself. Just because, the only instrument you have to work with as an actor is you.
Right.
So, if I'm playing, for Macbeth, I did not play Macbeth. I played one of the nobles, but I played a very sort of tough battle axe wielding, I don't know, a guy who loves to fight. And so, you kind of reach down, you find that part of yourself. And then for this, finding somebody who likes to fix things and be the white knight and help people and all that. And if you're lucky, you always learn something new about yourself with every project. And you get to kind of discover parts of your own personality and bring them to life in ways that I don't think you get to with other vocations.
No, and the other thing is too, and I brought this up to one of our guests, and just I mean, all listeners know, I talk about people that we've had on the show, that we're going to have on the show, and so on and so forth, because I think it's important, because there's a connection. Anyone that has any type of success in anything they do, there's a passion there. Okay, and I think that your passion just shows just with all the stuff that you're doing here. I think it's very, I think it's very interesting how the projects that you picked, and exactly what you're doing. And I know that for you, this is like the beginning of your journey, and and you've done some amazing things. But I will touch on this with someone else. Okay, you look at a guy like Heath Ledger. Okay, God rest his soul. He went and he took on the role of the Joker. Oh, he did Brokeback Mountain, but I'm not even talking about that stuff, because we already went into the thing with your movie with the gay thing.
Yeah.
But that was something that he had to become that person, the Joker. And the reason I'm touching on that, because the job he did, that he had to live like that. He was so engulfed in what he was doing that he actually lived that way, so he can become that person.
I didn't realize that he had taken it to that extent. But I knew. I mean, I've seen the film, and I was in awe of that. I heard one reviewer when that movie came out say, well, there wasn't too much. He could pretty much do whatever he wanted with the role, so, it's not that impressive. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
He could do whatever he wanted, and he did that. That was brilliant. He could have made it to anything, and so, in a way, I thought that made it even more brilliant. He didn't have a lot of, there was no backstory given about him. There was no, there was nothing explaining why he was the way he was. It was just the lines he had to work with, and what he did with that, and it was just
amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
And I, honestly, when I saw it, I was in awe, because he became the Joker that you were drawn in there like, oh my God. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's a great actor, but it's like he was actually him. And I think that person that did report that he probably didn't like DC, he probably liked Marvel, so he probably gave a great review for Iron Man. But even though the Marvel series is great, I love that stuff. But a great actor is a great actor. Like as I said, with Phil Morris, with Heath Ledger, with people like that. These are people that actually put themselves into their roles, and even with you put yourself into your role, and you have a great respect for the industry, a great respect for yourself, and you have great respect for for everything. And I can see that. Just if somebody just looks at your resume and the roles that you have taken, it's not like you're saying, okay, well, I'll just do whatever because I'm going to do this. No, you're doing it, but you're taking on the part as your own. You're making it your own, and I think that's impressive. You know, I see movies and I see actors that you know they don't fit. They don't fit in the part. They don't fit in the movie. It doesn't make any sense. You know, even though casting has a lot to do with it, but if you have a good casting agent, and they put you in a role and you make that role, you own that role. Come on, the project is going to be, you know, it's just going to get better. You know, producers will love you because they're making the money back. that's what it comes down to.
In the end, that is what it comes down to. They call it show business. That's
it. Yeah, well, show business, and then the words of the you know how that goes with the show business and show money. So we won't. I don't want to infringe on that too much. But now Matthew, why don't you tell us what else you have going on beyond the theater project? Do you have anything else going on beyond what we spoke about?
We've got the theater project, which you can see at deafwest.org. We've got Just Say Love, which is the film, and you can keep up with that at justsaylovemovie.com. And then also the HBO Imagine project, which is up on the web now, and actually I know it's going to Philadelphia and DC, and then it's going to start working its way west, and they'll be doing the live events with that four-dimensional episode I was talking about. And again, at HBOimagine.com, you can see the entire story with those four-sided or three-dimensional, however you want to put it, stories, plus all the other vignettes. And I'm in 3 of them total. I'm in the four-sided one, and then I have 2 others as well.
So what was that? The teddy bear chase, right?
Yeah, Teddy Bear Chase, Art Heist, and Ransom Call.
Oh, okay, cool.
Are the 3 that I'm in.
3 of the 4. See, you couldn't do the 4, could you? You got 3.
Actually, they've used footage from one of the episodes in 2 other little vignettes as well. So I guess technically I'm in 5, but as far as specific stories, I'm in 3.
5 out of 4. That's not bad. No. So you're doing good there, Matthew. All right, so why don't you let our listeners know what your website is, so they can follow your career. And before you even say that, I want our listeners to know that Matthew Jaeger, he is going to be a staple in Hollywood. Just your demeanor, Matthew, and how you are, and just talking to you today convinces me that you know what, you're on your way, the right way, where you need to be. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, and one thing that you're welcome, and one thing that I want is that as you go along in your career, okay, is to write down my name so you don't forget me, because we want to have you back on the show and talk about, because you're going to have other projects going on, and talk about the stuff that you have going on, and really just follow your career, because I think it's going to be an amazing one.
Thank you. I would love that.
That's awesome. Why don't you give us your website before I forget?
Okay. You can see me at Matthew D. Jaeger at yahoo.com. It's MATTHEW, D as in David, JAEGER.com. Did I say it Yahoo?
Yeah, you just screwed that whole thing up there, Matthew.
So, MatthewDJager.com. God, if you email some guy at Yahoo, he's going to be very upset.
Yeah, I know. Well, people say, well, I thought his name was Jaeger. He said now his name is Yahoo. What's going on with this guy? I don't know.
It's MatthewDJager.com, or actually, you can also find I have a fan page on Facebook too. So you can keep up with me on either or both of those.
Okay, cool. So they can follow your career going to Matthew Jaeger on Facebook and pull up your fan page. They can go to MatthewDJager.com and find out more about you. That's fantastic. Again, Matthew, I want to thank you so much. I mean, I know that we're off schedule today, but it was a pleasure having you on the show. It's refreshing to hear from someone like yourself that's in there. You're in the trenches doing the stuff, but your view of Hollywood, of your craft, of what you're doing is not distorted. And I love that, because you're real. And you know what? And I'm going to send props out to your mom and dad for supporting you and doing what you're doing. I think that's fantastic. And Mama was right. You had to start when you were 2. I don't know. And I want to see that footage. Oh my God, that's going to come out. But when it comes out, tell you.
Idea in her head, it's got to come out now.
Yeah, no. Well, tell her to wait until you get a little higher on the ladder, so that she can sell it and make some money. It's not a bad deal. No, but seriously, it's great to have the support from your family, all the different roles that you had. I think that's fantastic. So, again, thank you for coming on. This was a great show, and we will have you back on at some point in the near future. But for our listeners, For our listeners, again, I'm going to give the websites one more time. You can watch Matthew Jaeger on HBO Imagine. Go to HBOimagine.com and check that out. It sounds like a really wild and interesting experience. And for Just Say Love, again, even look, whether you're homosexual or not, whatever the case may be, I think that the premise of the movie you can understand because it's real. Okay, just go to justsaylovemovie.com, and I do recommend that. And then for sure, Children of the Blessed God, go to the website, check out Matthew, check out Shoshana. If you can go get tickets. If not, then you go to the scalpers, as I said earlier. Okay, but don't pay too much. But hopefully that's going to go out there and be a traveling show. That would be awesome, and you guys can bounce all over the place and see the country. That's fantastic. And that website is deafwest.org. And that's it for this segment, this edition, this show. Matthew, again, thank you, and I want you to come back on at some point down the road, and maybe you'll have I don't know, an Emmy, an Oscar. You have something in your hands, hopefully.
Yeah, you just tell me when.
All right, brother, you got it. You enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.